My husband pulled my hair after I told him he was acting like my narcissist dad. I want to start by saying that I 26 grew up with an abusive, narcissist father. He was mine and my older sister's only parent after my mom passed away. He never got married after her but was abusive to me and my sister. He'd hit me and my sister over small mistakes like not making him the perfect tea he liked, or not doing the dishes, or fixing stuff properly. He once chalked my sister for disabling the washing machine, claiming she stopped it from working. He later admitted he was feeling bitter towards her for going against his wishes and getting a job. She moved out but I stayed and the abuse was directed at me. I remember him throwing food, drinks on the floor just because he didn't think I cooked right. I used to feel scared of him and only wanted to make him happy, but then I started resenting him and was barely able to move out at 16 when he forced my hand into a boiling water because I served him dinner while too hot. I've moved houses between relatives but no one really wanted me to stay. I was still a minor and wasn't much I could do legally. I met my now husband when I was 22. He helped me with education and living arrangements while we were dating. I moved into his house shortly after our marriage. We normally don't fight unless the problem is major. He likes the tea I make and asks me to make him some every now and then. Lately he's been stressing out due to work and has been getting short-tempered really fast. It makes me feel uncomfortable when I hear a loud noise or see someone angry and I get scared. Yesterday morning my husband woke up in a bad mood and asked me to make him some tea. I made some tea quickly then walked out the kitchen. He stopped me saying it wasn't sweet enough so I added sugar. He then stopped me again saying I didn't let it boil enough so I put it on the stove again. I was getting agitated. He tasted the tea later then said there was something wrong with it. I told him he could make his own tea then walked out. He shouted for me to return and ranted about how disrespectful and rude I was being and clearly didn't make enough effort to make tea because I was in a hurry. I went to get myself a glass of water and stood by the sink and said he was being unreasonable and was acting like my abusive, narcissist father by complaining about a perfectly made tea. Next thing I knew my husband grabbed my hair and asked what I just said. I repeated myself and he started pulling my hair telling me to never call him that again or compare him to my father. He kept asking if I understood and I yelled at him to let go of me. Then when he did I started freaking out crying saying he shouldn't have pulled my hair. Over some fucking tea. In response he told me I shouldn't have compared him to my dad and that I needed to stop projecting and go get some therapy to deal with my issues then walked out. He went to work and I broke down crying because literally he's never laid a hand on me before and always been supportive and comforting towards me. He apologized via text saying he was mad but not at me and was sorry for what he did and wished he'd never done it. He told me I could go stay with my aunt if I wanted time and apologized again. My aunt said I was wrong and should have never said what I said to him and kept telling me to let it go since we were both wrong. I wonder if I was out of line and pushed him to do what he did. I'm not sure if I'm willing to accept his apology. He's shown his true colors. He will absolutely escalate from here. You need to leave now. You married a narcissist because he felt like home to you. This is not your fault, it's a result of the terrible, ongoing abuse your father perpetrated on you. There is hope. Please get yourself into therapy and come up with your divorce and exit plan. Do not tell him you're planning to divorce or leave him, he might hurt you worse. Please have the number for the police handy too. Not sure what country you're in. If he puts his hands on you again, call them. If you're not planning on leaving or divorcing him, again, please get to therapy to start to heal from your horrific childhood. Don't accept his apology. You are completely correct and this is abuse. You need to get out if at all possible, because this will escalate in the future. What is your aunt thinking? Rationalizing and justifying abuse? WTF. Do not accept his apologies. Nothing will make up for this. Leave. Now. For your safety, do not tell him, just leave. Hun, run. This is not okay and not normal behavior. You're not a child. You're his partner and he doesn't get to discipline you like that. Not okay. Get out before this escalates. It is never okay for someone to lay their hands on you. Ever. And those that lose control and do so, will do it again. He was acting like your dad, and that itself is worrying, but then to get angry and attack you when you point out the similarities is completely out of line and more like him. Run honey, run. He told you to go to stay with your aunt? You? Like why wouldn't he go and stay somewhere? He behaved like a bloody Stone Age man. Reading this made me sick to my stomach. I'm so deeply sorry for you hun. You really don't deserve this and your aunt it's a F King DK head. Sounds like she doesn't want you over, so she's just giving you bad advice. I'm sorry to say this, but I believe that this is just the beginning. You need to make a plan and make your own life where you can be independent and find someone to feel you. Knowing your past and he still did that? Oh no. That's evil. Please be careful X. In my opinion, he has the problem. Work is tiring, but it is no excuse to take it out on someone else, least of all with his own wife. From what you say, he is not to behave like that normally, perhaps it was a bad moment that occurred. But you have to see if he keeps doing it. In case you feel like it might happen again, walk away. Leave him alone. You are first. Boyfriend sent himself money on my Cash App. Should I be upset? Long story short, I lost my debit card, so I've been sending my 24F boyfriend 22M money on Cash App for groceries and things I need until mine gets here. Today we went to the store and I sent $75 at 1 p.m. But the total ended up being $100, so I sent an additional $30. I know that my boyfriend used most of what he was paid last week and doesn't have much money right now. He's not the person to ask me for help, and he comes from a very well-off family. Dad makes about $500,000 a year. They have lived in Hong Kong, Canada and now back in USA for high school and college. Today he was leaving for work at 4:30 and he insisted on taking pictures with my phone of me to send to himself. The time stamp on the pictures sent was 3:30. At this time another $20 was sent from my Cash App to him at 3:29. I didn't receive the text, but I checked my email and saw the transaction. I didn't want to assume anything, but I know I didn't send it because I was saving that money in my account. I texted him and he said he had no idea and that he has no clue, but he's showing signs of guilt. I know he probably needed it for gas, but I wish he would have just asked because now I am feeling sad and bitter towards him. I also don't want to flat out say I know he did it because he will be embarrassed and defensive. Should I confront him or let it go? Update. I just texted him asking if he sent the money from my account to himself. I told him that I'm not going to freak out, but he needs to be honest if he did so because it's not fair to me and clearly shows the amount of respect he has for me and how much I can truly trust him. He is currently at work, will update when he replies. Final update. He replied back after a couple hours. He sent me 3 different messages that read, I didn't get on Cash App and take money from you. I'm being completely honest. I swear, why would I do that if you said you were going to if I needed it? I told him I know for a fact that the phone was in his hands when it was sent. But he told me that Cash App can sometimes be delayed and that it could have come through today even if I sent it yesterday or the day before. I've made about 15 Cash App transactions this week sending money. He said that this could have happened because I was sending so much money through Cash App that they sometimes put a hold on it. He offered to send the cash back, but I declined because I want him to feel like shit if he actually sent it and still kept it. Thanks for the replies. I honestly believe he did it because 2 days ago I had to send him money for gas and food cause he couldn't find his card, which he always says when he runs out of money. I'm gonna change my phone password and app passwords. I think he thought I wouldn't realize with all the transaction I sent within the last week, but Cash App always sends a text when you send or receive money, and I never got one for the 329 transaction but received the email, which means the text had to be deleted. He stole money from you. Yes, you should confront him. Yeah, you need to talk to him. He stole from you. Do not let this go. This is stealing and a huge breach of trust. Ask for either an explanation or the money back. You can be nice about it, but do not let it slide due to his own fragile ego. He's thieving from you because he knows how. If he really needed cash, he could have simply asked, but he didn't. Confront it now and change your accessibility to the app so it can't happen again, and he knows very clearly it's not freaking okay. If he doesn't have the balls to ask you for $20 and instead steals it, he doesn't deserve you. He stole from you and when confronted lied to you. He set the pictures up with the intent of stealing from you. I assume he didn't immediately send it back when confronted? Again, he stole from you and then lied when caught. Yes, you should be incredibly upset. He has a rich dad and still decided to steal from you. That's horrible. You only lose time from liars and thefts. He might have a valid reason and still should have respected your space by asking. Definitely need to confront him about it. How can I, 24F, approach my boyfriend, 31M, about his choice of wardrobe? Update. So I tried finding some clothes online that I thought he would like. He said he liked them, and agreed to wear them when we were in public together, but wouldn't give up wearing his wizard clothes when he was out alone. He also said he was upset that he couldn't wear the clothes around me anymore. I guess I messed up and asked why it upset him, and I asked why he felt it had to be a choice to choose them or me. I kept trying to say, "It's just a hat," and he yelled at me calling me manipulative. I stepped away, and tying this now. It sucks because I feel like this is how all of our arguments end, with him calling me something like, selfish, or, delusional, or, rude, and I wonder what's wrong with me. Can we never have a healthy debate? Can I never bring up suggestions to him? I don't know how to deal with this. I'll talk to my therapist about it tomorrow. So about a year ago or so, my boyfriend of 5 years purchased a few ponchos and wizard hats. Yes, wizard hats, and dug up a white lab coat he had lying around, and has started dressing like a wizard, his words, not mine. To clarify, he doesn't wear the ponchos as intended, he throws the fabric behind his shoulders to make it into a cape, again, his words. I tried to be supportive thinking this is how he would dress for Halloween or for nights out with his friends, but these are things he wears on a daily basis, even to go get the mail or go to the grocery store. And he wears them with plain t-shirts and athletic shorts, so there's a huge juxtaposition. It's gotten to the point where I don't invite him to go out with me, because I'm embarrassed to be seen with him. People in their early 30s don't pretend to be a wizard, it's seriously concerning and a huge turn-off. Ideally he would stop dressing like this altogether, but maybe a middle ground can be reached. Any advice would be appreciated. You should either dump or duel him. There is no middle ground, for this relationship. BF. I put on my robe and wizard hat. This dude dresses like a wizard and has a GF. I wouldn't call it batting 1,000, but he's probably not gonna be convinced he's doing something wrong. If you don't like him, don't date him. I have an idea for some middle ground. Let him dress like a wizard, but add some more fashion sense into it. Get him some nice coat in that style instead of cape, add some accessories, etc. If you're stylish, then it can end up even more cool and origin than normal people's outfits. A lot of wizards in these comments. This is who he wants to be. Even if he stopped dressing this way, he would always harbor resentment for being forced to change. Unfortunately, the two of you are no longer relationship compatible and you need to tell him that so you can move on. I suppose I lack imagination, because I'm struggling to see how a white lab coat looks anything like wizard garb. Then again, as all this is over track shorts and a t-shirt, I guess authenticity of aesthetic is not his goal. Should I take my husband back? I, F26, was in an open relationship with my husband, M32. The agreement was that he could sleep with other women. We have been married for 3 years. The first girl he got with, he started seeing about twice a week. I eventually got uncomfortable with it because he was not paying as much attention to me and I could tell he was progressively getting more invested in his new relationship and neglecting me. I struggled with the jealousy for about a month before I asked him to stop talking to her. To make a long story short, he eventually told me that he loves her more than me and that he thinks we should separate. I was completely broken and left to go stay with friends in another state. Things were really bad for a while and without getting into details he betrayed me several times. Eventually he says that he wants to try to make things work and asked for another chance. He says that in the short term, he would still rather be with her but that he wants to prioritize our long-term happiness. He thinks we should see a therapist and that I would make a better partner in the long term. He has a couple things he'd like us to work on. He also wants me to come home. The thing is I am really reluctant to even give him a chance while he says that he'd rather be with her, even if it is in the short term. I want more than anything to make things work with him, but I don't know if I can. So what do you guys think? Should I just ask for a divorce? Little edit. He says he cut contact with the other girl and claims to feel very guilty. It's just that he apparently wishes he could still be with her, in the short term. I believe a divorce is appropriate in your case. He would still rather be with her but that he wants to prioritize our long-term happiness. Not trying to be mean, but if you are okay with even considering that concept, I would recommend working on building up your self-respect. He's practically screaming that you are his second choice, but if you are a good girl and work on things, he might promote you to being his first choice. Get rid of him. He sounds like an abusive, lying, douchebag. You are so young and have your wild life in front of you. Why waste time with someone who doesn't treat you like you deserve? And it's not really an open relationship when just one person can fuck other people. At any rate, you can do, and deserve, so much better. Good luck with your future op. People with open marriages don't realize the consequences until it's too late. Look, you opened up your marriage and human emotions are complicated. I say there's no going back. Divorce him. Don't open your relationships to strangers in the future. I bet he got dumped and is now coming back to you. How can things work long term with you if he's with her now? No. He needs to end that and focus on your marriage if there is any chance to work it out. Otherwise, I wouldn't go back. He wants to have his cake and you shouldn't have to put up with that. Nope. He chose her over you. Find someone that makes you number one. Girl, you're just his backup for when his fuck buddies get bored with him. Go find man who actually values you as a partner before he fucks you over and hurts you.